So now let us start the attachments and relations of fibula. So coming to the medial surface of the shaft, you can see this is first we'll understand the orientation of diagram. This is the anterior aspect of right fibula and this is the posterior aspect. Okay, what is the medial side, lateral side, how to find out already we know. The medial side is mainly where you have the facet for talus, right, and this is the lateral side because you have lateral meiosis, and you know at the upper end you have the styloid process at the apex of the head, right. So now let us start with the attachments and relations. So mainly on the medial surface of shaft, the medial surface of the shaft gives origin to extensor digitorum longus. So you can see it is mentioned over here, the extensor digitorum longus, which is or having origin from the medial surface of shaft. Okay, from the whole of the upper 1/4. So this is upper 1/4, this is middle 1/4, and this is lower 1/4. So from whole of upper 1/4 on the medial side, there is origin of extensor digitorum longus from the medial surface. Okay. So this extensor digitorum longus on the medial side, it's also getting origin from the upper 1/4 and also anterior half of middle 2/4. Okay. Now coming to the extensor hallucis longus, you can see here this is the extensor hallucis longus. This one is getting its origin from the posterior half of middle 2/4, and we have peroneus tertius, which is tertius, peroneus tertius. You can see it is getting its origin from lower 1/4. So first we are talking about medial surface. So you know where is the medial surface, right? It is between the anterior border and the medial border. So this thin surface, this is the medial surface. In the upper part, it is on the upper 1/4 and middle 1/4, it is getting origin of extensor digitorum longus. Okay, extensor digitorum longus. These are all extensor compartment, because on anterior side you will have the extensor compartment, digitorum going to digits, fingers, longus means it is a long muscle. Okay, and next you have extensor hallucis longus. Okay, so these both very easy to remember. Medial side you have extensor digitorum longus, you have extensor hallucis longus, and also you have the peroneus tertius. Okay, done with the medial surface. Now coming to the posterior surface. So now posterior surface is between the medial crest and interosseous border. So you can see this is the medial crest and interosseous border in between them. So it is grooved part and gives origin to tibialis posterior. So mainly there is origin of tibialis posterior. You can see this whole muscle, this one is tibialis posterior. You can see it's mentioned here, there is this whole one. Okay, it is mainly between the medial border and the interosseous border. Okay, and next coming to the part of posterior surface between the medial crest and posterior border, that is between medial crest and posterior border. Okay, it gives origin to soleus. So you can see this is the soleus muscle here between the medial crest and this is the medial crest and posterior border, gives origin to soleus on the upper part. Okay, and from the flexor, from the lower 3/4 you get origin of flexor hallucis longus, this one. Okay, and next you have the lateral surface of the shaft, mainly gives origin to peroneus longus. So medial surface of the shaft, here this side you need to see this one. This is the medial surface of the shaft, gives upper 1/3, gives origin to peroneus longus. Okay, and from its upper 1/3 and posterior half of middle 1/3, and also the peroneus brevis is coming from anterior half of middle 1/3. From the middle 1/3 you have the peroneus brevis from the anterior half, and the whole of lower 1/3 you have the peroneus brevis. Next, coming to the common peroneal nerve, it terminates in relation to neck of fibula. So in relation to neck of fibula, the common peroneal nerve terminates. Okay, next coming to head of fibula, you have here the head of fibula receives the insertion of biceps femoris. So insertion of biceps femoris, you can see over here the head, at the head side you have insertion. So till now we have talked all about origins. So along the shaft of fibula you have all origins, whereas coming to head you have the insertion of biceps femoris muscle. Okay, especially on anterior lateral slope of apex. Next, this insertion is C-shaped. The fibular collateral ligament of knee joint is attached with the C-shaped area. So here at the C-shaped area there is a capsule of, you can see, superior tibiofibular ligament here, C-shaped, this one. Okay, so it forms a superior tibiofibular joint there. Next, coming to the origins of extensor digitorum, peroneus, longus, soleus, extend on corresponding aspects of head. So even extensor digitorum and peroneus, longus, soleus, these all muscles also you can see they're extending somewhat up to the head. You can see soleus is extending, and even our extensor digitorum longus is extending up to the head, right? And also the peroneus longus, this one, all these muscles are extending up the head of fibula. Next, coming to the capsular ligament of superior tibiofibular joint is attached around the articular facet. This is the capsule of superior tibiofibular joint. Okay. Next, coming to anterior border of fibula, mainly coming to anterior border. This one, this is the anterior border. It is mainly giving attachment to anterior intermuscular septum of leg, and also the superior extensor retinaculum. So you can see the superior extensor retinaculum here on the anterior border. It especially over here, it gives origin to it, especially in the lower part of anterior margin of triangular area, and superior peroneal retinaculum to the lower part of posterior margin of triangular area. So this is the triangular area over here, right? So this one will give attachment to superior extensor retinaculum, and this one will give attachment to superior peroneal retinaculum. Okay, this is of the triangular area. Next, coming to the posterior border. Here you can see this is the posterior border, right? So posterior border gives attachment to posterior intermuscular septum over here, and also the interosseous border gives attachment to interosseous membrane this side. This both are interosseous membranes borders which give attachment to interosseous membranes on medial side. Okay, and it leaves a gap at the upper end for passage of anterior tibial vessels. So upper end some gap for anterior tibial vessels. Next, coming to the triangular area above the medial surface of lateral malleosus. This one, triangular area. Okay, it gives mainly attachment attachment to the interosseous tibiofibular ligament here. Interosseous tibiofibular ligament over here, the triangular area, and also in the midline the anterior tibiofibular ligament anteriorly. Posteriorly you have the tibiofibular ligaments, and the attachments on lateral malleosus are, let us check out that. So here on the lateral malleosus the attachments are mainly anterior talofibular ligament to the anterior and posterior surfaces. Next you have inferior transverse tibiofibular ligament above and posterior talofibular ligament below to the malleolar fossa, and also the capsule of ankle joint along the edges of malleolar articular surface, and slight notch on lower border gives attachment to calcaneofibular ligament. So many ligaments are attached mainly at the site of this lower end of triangular area, anteriorly, posteriorly, right, laterally. So these all ligaments are helpful to form our ankle joint. Next, coming to the groove on the posterior surface of malleolus here, this groove. The groove mainly lodges the tendon of peroneus brevis. So here you can see it is mentioned peroneus brevis, so its tendon will get attached there. Okay, and also which is deep, and peroneus longus which is superficial. So both peroneus longus and peroneus brevis tendons are here, but the peroneus longus is superficial whereas peroneus brevis is deep. Okay, now coming to the blood supply, this fibula is mainly supplied by peroneal artery and gives a nutrient artery to the fibula. Okay, so here somewhere over here will be the nutrient artery here. Here will be the nutrient artery for the fibula which enters the bone on posterior surface. So now let us see the ossification of fibula. Fibula ossification from one primary center and two secondary centers. The primary center is in the shaft and it appears in the 8th week of intrauterine life, whereas the secondary center is for the lower end, appears during first year. Here lower end will have the secondary center, appears in first year, fused with the shaft by 16 years, and secondary center for the upper end, the secondary center is appearing during 4th year and fused with the shaft by 18 years. Okay, now coming to the fibula, it violates the law of ossification because the secondary center appears first in the lower end, does not fuse last. Okay, so this is violating the rule, and the reasons for violation are because secondary center appears first in the lower end because it is a pressure epiphysis. So here there is a pressure epiphysis in the lower end, and the upper epiphysis fuses large because this is growing end. So the upper end is growing end of the fibula. Now lastly, coming to the clinical anatomy of fibula, the upper and lower ends of fibula are subcutaneous and palpable. Yes, they can be palpated. Next, the common peroneal nerve can be rolled against the neck of the fibula. So in the neck of the fibula you have the rolling of common peroneal nerve, and this nerve is commonly injured here. In the first stage of Pott's fracture, the lower end of fibula is fractured spirally. Okay, in the Pott fracture, lower end is fractured spirally. Next, the fibula is an ideal spare bone for a bone graft. So actually we take the bones from one place and put it other where it is damaged. So like that you can use the fibula and place it over other bone fractures. And though it does not bear any weight, the lateral malleosus and the ligaments attached to it are very important in maintaining stability of ankle joint. So what are the ligaments attached to lateral malleosus? This one. There are many ligaments, like as we discussed, anterior talofibular ligament and inferior transverse tibiofibular ligament and talofibular ligaments and capsule of ankle joint. All these different ligaments are very important. You have also a calcaneofibular ligament. So these different ligaments which are attached to this lateral malleosus are very useful to maintain the stability, especially at the rate of our ankle joint. So by this we completed all the fibula attachments and relations.